we'll all do a parade round. I'll keep an eye on my engine. I always say I'm a librarian, or I was when I went to work, which means that I don't necessarily know an awful lot, but I do know where to find the answer. So I should pick on various individuals as they go around the ring, and I'll send to tell you about their engines, and we'll find a likely suspect. In fact, I think we'll start off with the big road train that is just over the other side. So sudden panic there because it's starting to blow off. That means I've got too much steam, so it's actually blowing off. It's the pressure release valve on the engine has decided it's reached its optimum pressure. These engines, although you can miniaturise the engines, you don't actually miniaturise the power. And most of them are running well over 100 pounds per square inch. Mine goes up to about 170. But I'm going to walk across and ask our second driver to perhaps tell you a little bit about this road train and about the generator that is calling.
Thank you, Melanie. So we've got 4 inches of scale for traction engines. They're all barrels, so they're 1/3 scale. We've got a road loco in the middle here and an agricultural engine in the front and the rear. The rear engine traditionally would be the most powerful of the engines. They're called the brake engine. So when it all went wrong, that was the one that made it hurt less. That's it. The dynamo is the load. The whole load, all through the engines and the load, is probably slightly over 3 tonnes. And the dynamo, believe it or not, was sold along with my great-grandfather to the estate near Guildford for the purpose of providing electric power for the house lighting to the main estate house, a bit like the Parham Estate house we have here. So that was well over 100 years ago, and it was still being used in the 1970s from the same water supply, albeit via a race. So there we go. It's a bit of a game to get going again, so please feel free to take the mickey out of us, and we shall go on round.
He'll count them down so they all set up at the same time. Let's watch. There we go. What you have to be careful is that the rear engine doesn't start pushing too much, and then it will jackknife between the things. In fact, they've made an exemplary start there, so that was lovely. Right, let's knob on the little Foden that's going by. This Foden is 4.5 inch scale. My Foden is a 6-inch scale. We will explain that later on once we've had a chance to look at all the engines. But this little engine is being driven by Ronnie. Ronnie is a member of the Steam Apprentice Club. The National Traction Engine Trust has a junior branch for Steam Apprentices, which is for youngsters aged from about 6 or 7 up to early 20s. And Ronnie is a member. That means that he is learning how to drive an engine in a safe and sensible environment. And so much so that his family decided to buy the Foden. So that was a good move. So beware, mums and dads, if your child says I'd like to be a Steam Apprentice, you might end up with one of these. So I'm just going to have a quick word with Ronnie. Tell me, Ronnie, how old are you?
9. 10.
Okay, when was your birthday then? Happy birthday to Ronnie. And how long have you been driving engines? And do you enjoy it? And is your dad helping you by walking round and round and round with you? I think Dad has walked a long way, because although the youngsters are allowed to drive them, they must be accompanied by an adult who is competent. So Ronnie is learning, and last night was shopping around our area, learning how to drive his little pony. Off you go, thank you very much. Right, we've got a rather splendid crane engine coming around now with Jim. We'll talk about the little showman's engine later, but we'll get the crane engine first, because Jim managed to avoid talking to me yesterday, so I'm going to get him today. Hello, Mr. Beaver. I've caught you again. Can you tell the people something about your uncle engine, please? been the original, the full size one? What were they used for? Thank you, Shabir. Jim is one of our senior members. It's lovely to see him still coming out every year. Well done, off you go, thank you. Right, who else can I catch? Got a couple of engines going. Gentleman with the umbrella. It seems to be an umbrella rally here. I'm going to pass my microphone over to Chris to let him talk and tell you a little about his engine and one or two other anecdotes, I'm sure. There you go, Chris, over to you.
Thank you, Melanie. Yes, this is a 6-inch scale, half-size Savage tractor. You won't ever see any of these in full size because none of them ever made it into preservation, sadly. But what you will see a lot of is the top part with the pistons and the flywheel as centre engines on steam fair rides like carousels and things like that. So while you won't see full-size versions of this engine, because I don't believe any are still in existence, you will see the top of it with the Savage Brothers logo on it in fun fair rides and things like that. No, that wouldn't.
I was hoping he'd talk a bit longer because I need to put some water in my engine in the boiler, but anyway, we'll worry about that in a minute. I see something else I wanted to mention is that this isn't just toys for the boys, it's toys for the girls as well. There's a number of ladies here, and just over here we have a lady driving a 6-inch something or other, I'm not sure, 6-inch barrel tractor, and I'm just going to go over and speak to them because Heidi, not only does she drive this tractor, she's also one of the drivers on the Bluebell Railway. So there you go, ladies. The doors are open to you guys, you as well. Heidi, can you say a little bit to the crowd about this your engine?
Now a bit about the Steam Apprentice Club. So I've been Steam Apprentice for about 10 years now, since the age of 3. And what it is you go out for a day on a full size, putting a fire in it, cleaning it, and driving it around for the rest of the day. And you end up learning a lot of things and getting a lot of opportunities on different engines in the future. It gives you a lot of experience. But yeah, that's about all I can say. Thank you for listening.
Well done, Charlie, that was lovely. So we now have all of our engines lined up. A little bit about a steam engine, how it works. It uses coal. Coal is burnt in a fire, and the fire is in a box. It's called the firebox. The box is surrounded by water. The water gets hot, turns into steam, and then that is used to power the engine. All of these engines, as you can see, are facing head uphill. Some of them are pumping water in. Some of them are, oh, I can see the generators working in the middle, which is rather good. And in a minute, I'm going to ask them all to blow the whistle. I don't like this bit, so some of you might want to cover your ears. But one of the features of a parade of any engine is to have this traditional blowing of whistles. So I think we'll ask everybody to blow the whistles. Are you ready, gentlemen and ladies? Go on then, where's your steam? Well, that's pretty pathetic. I will bring mine forward as well. You're being, yeah, the others are being picked on. It's always the phones, because they're special. Okay, here she comes, right. As the phones are special, I'm going to pass the microphone over to Chris for 30 seconds to keep you entertained while I get my engine ready.
Okay then, Melody. Yes, so we're going to get the phones out because they're special little lorries. They're really handy for, well, the full size for running stuff around villages and in the towns back in the day. Yeah, you need to put it into gear. Does help. So how many phones have we got? Three phones here today, I think. 3 or 4. Well, yeah, oh hello, there's a big one behind me. So there's a full-size phone going round at the moment. Then you've got the 6-inch that Melanie's driving, just going round. Then we've got a 4.5, just going off. And then I think, is that a 4-inch back there, or is it? I think that's another 4-inch, 4.5 following up behind. So that gives you an idea of the scales. So the full size, that's 12 inches to the foot, so we call it a full size engine. And then the 6-inch, which Melanie's driving behind. And so imagine everything on Melanie's engine, twice as big, and of course it'll be the same size as the full size. And then you've got the 4.5, which is about just over a third scale, following along, and another 4.5 behind that. So you can sort of see the differences in the sizes and the scales of all these engines, but they all operate exactly the same way. They all require boiler tests every year, and every 10 years they have what we call a hydraulic test. So the boiler inspector arrives, you have to take all the cladding off the engine, and the boiler inspector will fill the boiler right to the brim with water, and then keep putting water in to 1.5 times working pressure. And he'll go around and check for leaks and make sure it's all nicely sealed and then you've got to make sure that you can get water in these engines by two means. Mostly, it's usually by a manual water pump and also a steam injector. Some engines do have two steam injectors, and some engines have two water pumps, but you must have the ability to put water in via two different methods. And now Melanie's back, I can hand it back to her.
Oh, Shane is going. This will show you just how fast the little ones can go. We felt it was important because in the world of miniatures, we so often say, oh, this is a 4-inch engine, this is a 6-inch engine, and to many of you out there, feet and inches and yards, it's a foreign language. It's all centimetres, metres and what have you. And then we'll say it's a half size. Well, actually, when you look at my little engine and that great big green one, it's hard to believe that mine is actually half the size of the green one. But technically, every measurement is hard. So everything that on the big green one is a metre, on my little red one it is half a metre. Or if it was a foot on the big one, on mine it would be 6 inches. And on the other little green one on the far side and the high-speed super witty one, that's 4.5 inches. Don't ask me why they chose 4 inches, 4.5 inches, 3 inches, 6 inches. I don't know. You have to ask some of the experts about that. But that's how the scaling works on the miniatures. But everything else is pretty much the same. So that big engine, which I like to point out is being driven by a woman. So Lucy, who I won't ask to talk, but Lucy was my steam apprentice many years ago when I had a full-size traction engine, and she has been helping her dad for longer than she's been actually. How long has it taken you, Bob, to restore this? Yeah, it took Bob 34 years to restore this. He bought it as a heap of bits scooped up in a JCB bucket and put on the back of a low loader. So ladies, if you want to send your husband or your male family members down the shed, beware, they might be down there for 34 years restoring a steam engine. But anyway, she's here. She's a 1927 Bowden steam lorry. She's designed to carry 6 tons and I believe weighs about 9 tons when it's fully laden with cold water. My little engine weighs about 1.5 tons. 2 little green ones, I'm not sure how much do they weigh. Shane hasn't got a clue, it just goes really fast. 100, oh there you go ladies and gentlemen, 100 kg, that means nothing. Oh, 800, that means nothing to me, as you can tell. 800 kg, and what about yours? About the same. So, it just gives you some idea. These engines were designed in the 1920s. They were designed for the haulage of the day and they could carry 6 tons, which at the time was quite a good payload that was needed. Right, I'm going to ask Bob to do a grand tour and park up out the way. Then all of the little engines can do their final tour. Please come, oh, one thing I forgot to say. If you do come over to the miniature section, we actually have a 3-inch Foden that's being built. So that is half the size of mine. So that's a real baby, and it's well worth coming to see because they're still in the process of actually building it. So hopefully next year we'll have a 3-inch, 4.5, a 6, and a 12-inch Foden for you to see. So anyway, thank you all very, very much indeed for your time this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoy your day. I think Fred is waiting in the wings, and I've got to get a word skullduggery in. When Fred commentates on the big engines later and they play some games, just watch out for the skullduggery, because I'm sure there will be plenty of it. Anyway, enjoy your day. Please come over and see us. Come over and ask questions. And we look forward to meeting you. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Well, thank you very much, Melanie. That's Fred's one. This is my one. This one's full of my germs already. This one's already full of my germs. Before the models head out the ring, I will just say our friend Brian with his nice half-size Parham traction engine got his grandson on there Wednesday, and I believe I'm right saying it's his birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday to him for tomorrow. That's Oliver. So happy birthday for tomorrow, Oliver.
Yeah, and the guy said, you have no idea how many people pick that up and just put it back down.
Well, Melanie, I'd just like to say a big thank you for getting the word skullduggery in there. I'm looking forward to using that in the slow race later, which is happening about 3:30, I think. We've got the arena parade of the full-size engines next, and after that we've got steering engine, and after that we've got the steam engine